This is lesson 1.12. It's on kinship and political leadership. So, we're going to start with the meaning of kinship and how it served an important political role in a lot of West African societies. And then we're going to explore the very important roles played by women in helping to lead those societies, and two women in particular, Queen Idia and Queen Njinga, who left pretty inspiring legacies. So, the first thing is to define kinship. Kin means family. So, kinship is a political relationship based on extended family ties, which were highly relevant in West African politics. Take, for example, conflict resolution within a community, which often involved mediation by a shared elder. Let's say that in this extended family group, children A and B are in conflict. Well, there's siblings, they share a parent. And so you don't have to look very far for a common ancestor to mediate and help resolve that conflict. In the case of a larger extended family, let's say A and D are in conflict. Their parents are siblings, which makes them cousins. So if their parents can work it out, that resolves the conflict. If their parents can't agree, then the next shared ancestor would be the grandparent, who would work to resolve the conflict among their descendants. If two members of a community are distant relatives, the whole community might be part of an extended family group, and the closest shared ancestor might no longer be living. In such a case, community disputes must be resolved by agreement among the oldest living members of the community. These kinship relations often formed the basis of political alliances in West African societies. It's important to note that in many West and West Central African societies, it was women who assumed these important roles of community leadership. It was common along the West African coast for women to lead spiritual and religious ceremonies, to act as advisors to rulers, and in some cases to serve as the rulers themselves. Women were also active participants in trade markets and educational institutions, and contributed to West Africa's agricultural knowledge and the efficiency of its farming methods. A fascinating example of female military leadership arose in Benin in the early 1500s. We haven't met the Beninese yet, but they were another Bantu speaking people, skilled in metalworking. This bronze sculpture and ivory mask are a testament to their technological and artistic talents. And these both commemorate the same person, Idia, Queen Mother of Benin, whose strategic skill and expertise in African medicine led her to victories against rival kingdoms. Idia was revered by her people as a wise and spiritually inspiring leader, but it was actually her infant son who legally ruled Benin. Idia had secured the throne for her son despite rival claims, and was the real power behind Benin's economic and military achievements, especially during the early years of her son's 46-year reign. Idia was eventually crowned Ioba, a new royal title meaning Queen Mother. While Idia's military victories came against neighboring African kingdoms, our next warrior queen led resistance to European incursions into Africa. By now, we have seen how the European and specifically Portuguese demand for West African slave labor had become sufficiently disruptive to kingdoms such as Congo that the leaders of those kingdoms began to object. Of course, European slave traders were not eager to abandon such a profitable business, and soon African rulers increasingly saw the need to resist Portugal's influence by force. The most successful of these resistance movements took place in Ndongo, which neighbors Congo in West Central Africa, and whose population had been devastated by human trafficking. It was led by a queen named Njinga. Queen Njinga famously led a 30-year insurgency against the increasingly invasive Portuguese presence in Ndongo, which had grown from unwelcome slave traders to direct military occupation by 1575. Njinga bravely led her people into battle against incredible odds. When outnumbered, she employed guerrilla tactics to ambush, sabotage, and disrupt Portuguese operations. She slowed the progress of Portugal's invasion of West Africa and eventually established a new kingdom, Matamba, further to the east, which grew into a powerful trading state, able to negotiate with European powers on equal footing. Both of these women rulers left their mark on Africa and the world. After the reign of Njinga, Matamba continued to be ruled by capable female monarchs for at least the next 100 years. As for Idia, the Ioba of Benin, she became world famous in 1977 when Lagos, Nigeria hosted the second festival of Black arts and culture, also known as Festac. Ioba Idia's ivory mask was selected as the festival's official symbol and helped to draw artists from all over the African diaspora, including famous African American writer Audre Lorde, poet Amiri Baraka, and Hall of Fame rock star Stevie Wonder.